Now we're going to talk about the set types. There are, or the category of set types. There are two types under this category. One of them is called set, and the other is called frozen set. So the concept of a set is similar to the concept of set in math. If you remember, you probably learned it in discrete math. So it's an object that has a collection of items that are unordered, so there is no sense of order whatsoever, and they are distinct. Now, this is the concept of math. In math, a set doesn't have any duplications inside of its element. And then the way Python implemented that is that it compares the object, and then if there's duplication, it eliminates it. Now, how does it compare it? It compares it based on the hash. Therefore, the elements inside the set must be hashable. Okay? So the elements inside the set must be hashable. Common uses membership testing in order to figure out whether a particular element belongs to a set, removing duplicates, using mathematical operations like intersections, union, and differences. Okay, and so here's the thing. The set itself is mutable. So every element inside the set has to be immutable. Okay? But the set itself is mutable. So if you want a set to be inside a set, you have to turn it into an immutable version of the set, and that is the frozen set type. Okay? Now, both of them are iterables, so we can loop over them just like we looped over the sequences that we've been working with. All right, so let's have a look at that in the interactive Python here. So let's have one set. So this is my set. Now, how do I define the set? We define different types of collections so far. The square brackets is for a list, right? Round parentheses are for a tuple. How do we create a collection that is a set? Using curly brackets. Now, there is another usage of the curly brackets. We'll see it in a bit, but the set and the dictionary use curly brackets. So we start with that. Set, we need curly brackets to define a set. Now, inside the set, we need to have mutable objects. Immutable objects. It has to be hashable. So let's say we have a set of values like this. And let's say they are supposed to be distinct as well. So let's say I added a duplicate value like this. It will take it, but what would happen automatically is that it will not be stored. It will be eliminated. Now see, this is not the order I entered the values with, right? Now, there is no need to discuss what happened here to reorganize like this. There is no sense of order whatsoever. So don't try to speculate and figure out why is it reorganized. It's meaningless. There is no order, there is no sense of order with a set whatsoever. Okay? Now, what if I wanted to so I wanted to define my set like this, but I wanted to add a list. Okay? Like this. It will give me an error saying that this list is unhashable because it's mutable. So what do I do if I want to put a list inside a set? I will have to turn it into a tuple. Okay, so if I turn it into a tuple like this, it will add the tuple, not the list. All right. Now, I can update the set. We know that the set itself is mutable, so which means that I can update it. Now, we used to refer to particular element in a list or in a string using an index, right? But an index means that there is a sense of order, right? So we cannot use an index with a set because there is no sense of order. Okay, so we can update or add elements to the set. So we can add one element. So let's say I want to add one element. In that case, I can use the function add. So let's say I'm gonna add this string ABC like this. So if I want to add it as one element like this, I can have it. Right. Okay, it would be added as one element, right? Now, if I want to iterate over, like if I have another sequence and I want to add the elements of that sequence one by one, I can use the function update. So if I try to update and send the ABC, now it's not going to be treated as one element or as one string. It will be treated as a sequence. So it would loop over the element one by one and add them one by one to my set. Like this, right? Now here with the update, I can send any collection, any sequence, anything that is iterable, and it doesn't have to be mutable. It doesn't have to be immutable in itself. So I can try to update my set by sending a list because it's not going to add the list by itself. It will iterate over the elements of the list and add them one by one. And as long as these elements are immutable, then you should be good to add them. All right. Now, what if I have another set like this? So let's say I have another set that has like, let's see, 20, 30, 40. Okay. Now, I can I can say one set dot update, and then I send the other set, even though the other set is mutable, so it's unhashable, it will take it because it loops over the element and add them one by one. And the elements that I have right here are all immutable, so there is no problem. But what if I wanted to add the set, as one element? I wanted to add it like this. I can't because the set is mutable, therefore unhashable. So what do I do if I want to add a set inside a set? In that case, I have to turn it to the immutable version, which is a frozen set type. And in that case, I will see that the set was added as a frozen set. Okay? Now, just like we had, okay, so we already talked about that. Just like we had the comprehension for a list, we can have a comprehension for a set. So we can build a set programmatically too. So let's say we said that one of the common cases that you use a set is to eliminate duplication. So let's say we have a statement like this, a string, and we want to know what are the unique characters. So let's start by that unique characters here. So here's a statement, and I want to figure out what are the unique visible characters that are seen. So we'll take that step by step. First of all, let's try to find the unique characters, and a common way, instead of checking for duplication programmatically, you just send the elements to the set, and then duplication will be checked and eliminated without us having to worry about it. Okay, so let's start with that. We're gonna build the set programmatically. So we start with an empty set. So we want visible characters. So this is my set. Now I want to start with an empty set. I cannot use the curly brackets because there is another use of curly brackets. So empty curly brackets doesn't mean empty sets. So if I want to create an empty set, I use the constructor like this. All right. Now I want to loop over the elements in the string in this string and add them one by one. So loop over. So let's say for CN statement, I'm just gonna add the characters one by one. Okay, now we just saw that we can just send it as with the update, but we just want to see how to build a set programmatically. Okay, we're taking a simple example so we can see how we can build a set programmatically. Okay, so that should give us the characters. If I try to print it, that should give us should show us the characters um, unduplicated, so the unique characters. Now you can see that there are capital and there's a small. These are unique because the capital S is not the same as the small s, right? Okay, now how do we do this with a comprehension? Just like we had a comprehension with a list, we can have a comprehension with a set. So I'm gonna recreate the same thing but using comprehension. Okay, so we start with surrounding brackets. So in order to build a list, we needed the square brackets. Now we're gonna build a set. So we need the curly brackets. And it's not gonna be empty, so we can use the curly bracket. Okay, now here the first thing we put here is the expression that we want to be added one by one to our set. So I'm gonna defer that for a little bit. This will be the expression, okay? Here, after the expression, we need the loop header. We want to build this set based on the elements of this sequence. So we need to loop over the element of the sequence that or the iterable that we want to build our set upon. Okay, so I'm just gonna use a different variable name so that you realize that this is a variable name. I choose whatever name I want. Here I chose C, here I would choose CH. It's my choice. Okay, now I want a loop to loop over the iterable that I want to build my set upon. So I want a loop to loop over the statement. Okay, now here, this variable called ch will take one character in the string at a time. Now, what do I want to add to my set based on that? We start with the basic, just like this. The basic way is to just add a character by itself. Okay? Okay? So that should be sufficient to give me the same thing I had before. So if I try to print it, it should give me the same thing. All right, so it should give me the same thing. No, don't try to compare the order or try to make conclusions about the order. There's no point of that. Okay. Now, what if I don't want these distinction between the lowercase and the uppercase? So I need to change the expression itself. So instead of adding the character by itself, I need to add the character only when they are like turn it into lower and compare them as lower and then add it as in the lower version. So this way I wouldn't have a lower and upper version of the character. Now here, in order to do this, the ch is a variable that iterates over the elements of the string, right? Now, see here the expression that we will add to our set. So that expression, instead of taking the character by itself, I want to turn that character into lower. Lower is a function in a string. It turns the characters in the string into lowercase. Okay. All right. Now here's another thing. There are spaces too. So the space is mentioned here. I don't want to have it list of included in my set. I only want the visible characters. Okay. So if I want to do this in the longer version, I would add a condition here. So if C not equal to a space, then add it to the set. Otherwise, don't. Okay, so if I run it like this, you will see now they are different. So the longer version, this is where we add the if, right? But how do I add a condition like this in the comprehension format? So in the comprehension format, I would add the condition after the loop. So you see here, this is the expression. This is the loop that iterates over the iterable or the sequence that I want to build my set on. And then the condition in itself. So now I can add the condition. So if ch not equal space. So in that case, it will not go. So when there's when this condition is false, it will skip it. It's not gonna go to this part. It's not gonna go and add the expression to the set. Okay. So after we add this condition, we should be able to see that they are again the same. All right. So this is what I just said. And just like any iterable we worked with, just like we worked with the sequences, the list, the tuples, and the strings, I can loop over the set as well. Okay, so that is a set type, the set types.